And good morning, listeners. Oh, man, on a way beautiful morning compared to what we've been getting. And I'm not griping. It's even cold, and I'm not going to gripe. Because we're going to see the sun today, so I get a chance to maybe shine. Because let me tell you.
After last night.
Oh, I ain't griping. I stayed up and watched the whole doggone game and watched him break the record. How fitting. Gibbens Robichaux, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you for asking me.
Yeah, no problem.
Beautiful day.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Current conditions, chilly, 44 degrees, wind chill 44, humidity 85%, barometric pressure 30.41 inches of mercury, and steady, visibility 5 miles. Sunrise this morning was at 6:57 a.m. Sunset this afternoon will be at 5:11 p.m. You notice since December 21st, the days are getting about a minute longer every day. Hot dog, spring is right around the corner. Man, oh man, forecast for today calls for a little bit cooler than yesterday. Sunny, highs around 60. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, clear, lows in the upper 30s. Whoa! North winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Wednesday, sunny skies. Wednesday night, clear. Thursday, Friday, partly. Man, we are good. Looks like maybe a 20% chance of rain on this coming Sunday night. Other than that, we are good. A great sunny weekend most of the week. A little partly cloudy skies through Friday, but other than that, highs even get up into the 70s on Friday. But looks like the weather is going to, we got a good week ahead of us with lows in the 30s through Wednesday and then warming up in the 40s Thursday, Friday, Sunday, cooling off again, lows in the upper 40s. So I think we got a great week ahead of us. I ain't even going to bitch about the cold weather, man. I'm telling you.
I can't believe that.
Oh, well, you know, I'm going to gripe a little bit.
And
but
we had a nice breeze last night.
But yeah, I'm telling you, you had a hurricane going in the first half, and then it fizzled to a tropical storm, but it cranked up again late in the fourth quarter, man. And, of course, they did what they had to do, annihilated the Atlanta Falcons. And, you know, it looks like, depending on where they are, the lowest they're going to be is the third seed.
Yeah, right.
Could possibly, if the Rams could knock off San Francisco, they could be a second seed.
That's right.
Wouldn't that be great? But you know what? I think they're going to go far.
To play Atlanta again, I don't know about that. They would be
Hey, you got to get close to the mic, Gil.
They'd be scared to come back, though, huh?
Bring them on.
Oh,
We'll whip their butt three times in one season. Bring them on.
They look great at the beginning.
Yep, hang on. When we get this call.
That's
Good morning. You're live, KTIB. Hello.
Morning, Mr. Junior.
Good morning, Doug.
45 to 16.
How about that?
I didn't know it until I woke up this morning.
You didn't stay up for that?
Come on, Doug.
No, I didn't. I went to sleep.
And you off all week, so you lounging around doing nothing this morning.
I did the. I put more points in the book.
All right, good deal.
So I know the Saints was gonna be what?
Absolutely, they whooped them.
Whipped them, yeah. But the Saints gonna now what seat they gonna be in, Mr. Junior?
Well, we don't know yet. They could either be a second seed or a third seed, depending on what happens this coming Sunday with the Saints and the 49ers.
Okay.
So we got to wait and see.
Okay.
All right, my boy. You have a good day. Bye-bye.
I wonder what Doug does all day. That's crazy.
He's off this week.
I know. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
you know, hey, you know, if I would be off all week, I'd be chilling. No, I couldn't do that. I'd be doing
Imagine
something.
what time those people got home last night from
2, 3
probably
o'clock.
Straight to the quarter.
They probably half of them still in the quarter.
They're still drinking outside the door.
Absolutely, there ain't no problem with that.
It started yesterday morning, I think.
What a great victory for the Saints. We're going to talk about that in just a little
Very
bit.
impressive.
Birthdays and anniversaries, give us a call, 447. We got the phone lines fixed. 447-6409 is the number into the dialogue room this morning. 447-6409. As always, we ask that you keep in your thoughts and in your prayers. Truly America's finest young men and women who are in harm's way, particularly those in the Persian Gulf area, be it Afghanistan, Pakistan, no more Iraq. Wherever they are, we ask that you keep them close to you, keep them in your thoughts, and definitely keep them in your prayers. Some of the ones we want to pray for: Matthew Barrett, who is in Hawaii; Michael Lebo, Joseph Fontenot, who is in Afghanistan; Bo Bergdahl, the young man abducted by the Taliban. Whew, Lord, 2.5, going on 3 years. Going on 3 years now. Aaron By, Jacob Miller, Gary Ellis, Margaret Marcello, John Duper, Kyle Adams, who is back from South Korea; Mark Bolton, who is back from Iraq. Air Force guys and gals: Gerard Arsenault, who is in England; Robin Hassenfuss, who is in Afghanistan. Sean Zarang, who is in Little Rock. Bruley Sherman, Stacy LeBlanc, both in Afghanistan. Casey Odorn, who is in Qatar. And Todd Hubble, who is back from Afghanistan. I need to find out if these guys are still in or not. Navy guys, Bradley Champagne, Jay Visich, Martin Bro, Scott Shaw, Scott's son Zach, who is on the USS Milius, Stephen Landry, who is on the USS John Stennis, us my Navy guys, and Michael Monier, who is in San Diego. Marine guys, Matthew Chatinier, Mo Hanino, who is in Pensacola, Andrew Savoy, my grandson, who is in New River, North Carolina, at Marine Corps Aviation Station, and another Army guy, Chris King, one of my other grandsons, who is stationed at Fort Bragg. Both of them are home right now, and I tell you what, we had a heck of a card game playing Texas Hold'em Christmas night. We had all of the kids were in. And, we had a blast.
We did too.
Oh, we had a blast. But anyway, please keep all of these fine young men and women in your thoughts and in your prayers. All my commuter guys, Hugh, Phillip, Randy, Nancy, Perry, Anthony Bourne, Dan Nakian, Cotty Campbell, John Richard, Keith LeBlanc, Chad Meir, Bo Savoy, everybody that's commuting. Say a 15, 20-second prayer for each other, that everybody gets to work safe this morning, everybody gets home safe this afternoon. So please be careful. The roads, they'll still be wet. There'll be water around until all of this dries out. But in the meantime, be careful. Drive alertly, as the state police always tells us. Just watch out. Be aware of your surroundings, please. 3-bedroom St. Genevieve home, 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath new home in Acadia Plantation subdivision in Thibodaux, and a raffle. Take a chance on a St. Genevieve Dream Home raffle. That will be August the 18th. $100 a ticket. You can get them at Cherry Books, all Community Bank, Coastal Bank, and Capital One locations. Three Stitches, all over town. Or you can call the St. Genevieve Church office at 446-5571. Bus voucher program is going strong for the Thibodaux Transit System. If you think you qualify, you'd like to know if you qualify, 446-7217, 447-2904. Next Thibodaux Playhouse Play coming up in February, right around the corner. Death Trap, February 10th and 11th, and February 16th through the 19th. So please mark your calendars with that. And that's going to be a great play coming right around the corner, January 29th. St. John, Music at St. John's Concert Series will feature soprano Valerie Francis, assistant professor of music. That's November 6th, I'm sorry. Wayne Morrow Jazz Quintet will perform featuring Latin jazz with Wayne on drums and percussion, joined by saxophone, trumpet, bass, and keyboard players. That's on January the 29th. Strong Women program, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 through 9. Call 209-2699 for more information. If you're a nonprofit, have an event coming up and would like to have the event added to our community calendar on our website or on the Dialogue Show and on public service announcements, you can fax it to 447-6464. That's 447-6464. Got this week all messed up with guests because we moved Debbie up to cooking for Christmas last week. Right. We moved Woody up on last Wednesday, on the Wednesday before Christmas, so that we could give him some advertising retail-wise before Christmas. So we kind of screwed up. We got Gibbons coming in today. I got to fill tomorrow and Friday. We got, of course, the Old Trade Terror on Thursday. I'll try to get John Robichaux on one more time before he goes back to school, maybe one more time this week. Real quick, the events on this day in history. 1831, Charles Darwin set out on a voyage to the Pacific aboard the HMS Beagle. Darwin's discoveries during his voyage helped him form the basis of his theories on evolution. 1845, Dr. Crawford Williamson Long used anesthesia for childbirth for the first time. The event was the delivery of his own child in Jefferson, Georgia.
Isn't that amazing?
1900, Carrie Nation staged her first raid on a saloon at the Carrie Hotel in Wichita, Kansas. She broke each and every one of the liquor bottles that could be seen. Should have shot her. God dog it. 1927, Leon Trotsky was expelled from the Communist Party. 1947, the children's television program Howdy Doody, hosted by Bob Smith, made its debut on NBC TV. It's Howdy Doody time.
Howdy Doody.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's Howdy Doody time.
1947, the year we
No,
graduated.
I don't remember 1947, but I remember it in the 50s.
Ancient ruins. Graduated that year.
1951 in Cincinnati, Ohio, a Crosley automobile with a steering wheel on the right side became the first vehicle of its kind to be placed in service for mail delivery.
On the right side?
How about
yeah,
that?
That's right. Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
1968, The Breakfast Club signed off for the last time on ABC Radio
Oh, I remember that.
after 35 years on the air. You remember that?
Sure.
What was that about?
It was like
a talk show?
A talk show. I'm trying to remember who was on there, though. Who was the head of that thing? Breakfast Club.
Think about it. It'll come to
Yeah,
you.
sure.
And in 2002, North Korea ordered UN nuclear inspectors to leave the country and said it would restart a laboratory capable of producing plutonium for nuclear weapons. And they did.
They did that.
And they did. Hang on a second. Let me grab this call.
Okay.
Good morning. You're live, KTIB.
Good morning, sir. You're asking about the Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
Well, it ran on ABC Radio. The host of it was a gentleman named Don McNeil.
Oh, yeah.
It was based out of Miami. It was a 2-hour daily variety show, and it was his most frequent regular on there, I think both before and after she was a Miss America contestant, was Anita Bryant.
Wow, that was that was back in 1968, 35 years, so it started like in the 40s.
Yeah, actually, I
Even
think
30s.
I think at 33. Yeah.
Yeah, in the 30s, 35. Yeah.
Yeah, because Don McNeil was a pretty darn good national radio broadcaster. It's just like I said, like a lot of those radio shows, not every affiliate had picked up the show.
Oh, okay. All right.
And also, real quick, I want to wish your radio station this past
Yeah.
Saturday would have been its 58th anniversary coming on the air.
You got it, man. 2 years, we're going to be 60 years old.
All right. Well, have a good day.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it very much.
Well, I'll tell you, Bill is full of knowledge,
You
man.
bet.
He knows his stuff. That's marvelous.
I don't even have time to look that up, but he's got all that
Yeah,
at
all
his
on
fingertips. Music history, 1903 in New York City. The barbershop quartet favorite Sweet Adeline was sung for the first
Oh,
time.
yeah?
You remember that?
Sure.
1903?
No.
Huh? 1927, the Music Showboat opened in New York. 1932, Radio City Music Hall opened its doors to the public for the first time. 1939, The Glenn Miller Show, also known as Music That Satisfies, debuted on CBS Radio. 1940, singer Al Jolson and actress Ruby Keeler were divorced after 12 years of marriage. 1964, the Supremes made their first appearance on TV's Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh, the
1970, Hello Dolly closed on Broadway after a run of 2,844 performances.
Imagine singing that every night.
Can you believe
Sometimes
that?
twice on
That's
Wednesday.
years, man. That's like 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
8 times 3, 8. God almighty.
Hello, darling.
December 27th birthdays, Louis Pasteur in 1822.
Oh,
Marlene Dietrichs in 1901. Mickey Jones, a foreigner, in 1947. The quote of the day, to be conscious that you are ignorant is a great step to knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, I'm friggin' Einstein.
Me too.
Huh? I know I'm ignorant.
I know. You're not
Man,
ignorant.
oh
Come on,
man, oh
Davey.
man. Word of the day is adventive, A-D-V-E-N-T-I-V-E.
Heard
It
of
means
that.
not native and usually not well established as exotic plants or animals. A not native, usually not yet well established plant or animal. It is used mostly as an adjective, is derived from the Latin word adventus, meaning an advance. The suffix IVE denotes a noun that came from an adjective,
That's right.
like detective or active.
That's where adventure came from. Yeah.
You got it, adventive. Yeah.
Boy, you know some stuff, Gene.
Hey, no, that computer does, though. That's one smart puppy, man.
Unbelievable, a computer, huh?
Gibbens Robichaux, what's going on? How you made out during the holiday?
Oh man,
You ate too much?
I didn't sleep at all. You know.
Come on.
No, I don't sleep. You know.
You got to talk. You got to
Yeah.
talk right in that sucker
I know,
because we're
I
having some
know.
volume problems.
It's funny that you should call me this week because William Taylor called me last week about somebody inquiring about the Dixie Theater. Do you remember the Dixie Theater?
Yeah, it was on the corner of St. Charles and 7th Street.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And of course, we were talking about theaters a while ago. We had the Grand Theater, the Baby Grand.
That's right.
The Harlem Theater. Remember the Harlem?
I don't remember the
No.
Harlem.
I'm trying to. Joanne was trying to recall exactly what street. Down about Bourbon Street out there. Remember what was the name of that bar down there? That Flaming Pit. No. What was the name of that bar?
You got me. That's way before my time,
Oh,
Gib.
you
I wasn't even drinking then. Way before my time.
Yeah, way before your time. It was amazing, though.
I remember the Babygram. That was right where St. Mary's tees off on Jackson.
That's
right,
right.
Yeah, right next
right
to
behind
where
the old Comet
right
office,
behind the old Comet office.
Old
You're
Comet
right.
office,
Yeah.
That's where I took my first date in 1947.
Who was she?
What's her name? Joanne. Joanne Abel, 13 years old. Boy, we walked to the movie theater to the Baby Grand. 50 cents, I think, to get in. And the show was kind of long, and her mother was getting ready to call the police because I didn't bring her back. You see.
You were still in there, huh?
I had no car, no bicycle. I always walked everywhere. You know, it was amazing. So I called Prudhomme Fauché. Prudhomme Fauché is amazing. His memory. He worked.
Absolutely.
He worked at the Dixie
So
Theater.
Okay, at the Dixie. All right.
Yeah, the Dixie Theater. It was amazing. I think it was 35 cents to get in those days. He said he thinks it opened in 48, 49. Mr. Conrad, remember Mr. Conrad?
Mm-hmm.
He ran the place, and I called Prudhomme, and Prudhomme said he worked there, I don't know, 50 cents a week or something. It's amazing. But to top it off, I got a tape made of Christmas Eve of Carol Hebert singing "Oh Holy Night," unbelievable. And it was an old tape, and my grandson recorded it for me. And when I finished that recording, it was me and Ned Barrios at KTIB. Now, that had to be in the early 90s. That had to be in the 90s somewhere.
Or even before.
Yeah. When did you start here?
Oh, I don't know. What are we?
12 years.
I don't know. I mean, I have 99.
William Taylor.
I don't know.
Yeah, 99. I'll be
2000. I don't know.
William Taylor knows.
I don't know.
He's gonna let us know. But at the end of that, after that music was recorded, I came on. It was me and Ned Barrios talking about him working at the Grand Theater, and Shirley, his sister. Remember?
Oh yeah, I remember that well.
And some of the things we're gonna run it a little while. Some of the things, especially the Gone with the Wind, when Gone with the Wind came out. Monsignor B. we couldn't go there because Clark Gable used damn in there. You know?
Oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
It was against. He couldn't say it was a sin, but he didn't want anybody to go to that show because Clark Gable said, "Oh, good damn."
You think times haven't changed? You know, sometimes you got to wonder if they changed for the better.
Oh.
You know, I think it's both ways. My mom worked at the Baby Grand.
Yeah.
She was she used to take tickets at the Baby Grand. She talked about that for years.
Well, the interesting thing about you hear on the tape about the cooling system in the Grand Theater. Remember the water thing running in the back? They had water running in behind the theater. You remember that? You don't remember that?
They had a swamp cooler in there, I think. Huh? Is that what it was? Yeah.
It was just wind blowing through water.
Well, they blow a fan on filters that was dripping water.
Exactly.
Yeah. They still do that out west a lot. Because of the dry temperatures.
Right.
It's kind of hard to do here, but to make it work. But yeah, out west they do that everywhere. Everybody's got swamp coolers.
Well, the Grand Theater was a great building, and it's a shame they tore it down. We could have used it for a playhouse or something.
Well, you're right.
Another Joe Robichaux thing. He built the cathedral. Yeah, he built that too.
And to think of when you mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4 theaters in and around the city, in the city limits of Thibodaux, what, 40, 50 years ago?
That's right.
Today there are none.
None.
And everybody virtually has a theater in their backyard.
Right.
Huh? Hang on a second. Let me grab this call. Good morning. You're live, KTIB.
That other theater was the Harlem Theater.
Yeah.
Where was it?
It was on the corner of 10th and Bourbon Street.
There you go, 10th and Bourbon. Yeah, all right. Gibbons couldn't remember where.
What was the name of that black nightclub right by next to it?
That was Hosey Hill's place.
Yeah, Hosey Hill.
Hosey Hills was the guy that owned the theater and everything. He was quite a wealthy fella. He owned the theater and the ballroom and all.
I remember? I met him already.
He had a couple ballrooms, I think.
Yeah, a couple ballrooms. I forgot the name. It was a funny name. The ballroom.
Well, he had Hosey Hills on Back Street. I don't know what the one on Bourbon Street was.
Yeah, that was his place.
You got it.
How you remember that? How old are you? 23?
Okay.
Thank you.
That sounds good.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Hey, we got to take a short break, listeners. We'll be right back here at the balcony, 640 AM, KTIB.
Inventory left as far as the 2011 Silverados.
And welcome back, listeners. If you just joined us, we got Gibbens Robichaux in the house this morning. We're switching some people around during this, I call it the blah week.
Lovely.
between Christmas and New Year's. You know, everybody's got the blahs
And
from
you don't
Christmas.
have any grass to cut, huh?
Oh yeah, we got plenty of stuff. No, we ain't got no grass. Well, we got some grass
I'm
to
sure,
cut,
hey,
but
yeah.
we got lots of trees to prune. I mean, we got lots of trees to plant.
Oh.
We are busy. Matter of fact.
Pine needles or something. But
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
have
we
them
got
out
a lot
one.
of cleaning to do. Oh, my other house when I used to live on Highway 1 had
Yeah.
pine trees.
Uh-huh.
And my new, I swore whenever I moved there would be no more pine trees. I mean, them needles
I wish
fall
I could take
all
mine, me
year
too.
long.
And see the trees are beautiful in our front yard. I don't want to cut the grass because the whole yard is
Yeah.
brown,
Yeah.
beautiful brown like that. You know? Great.
Well, it's wintertime. It's supposed to be brown, and
That's
then,
right.
of course, as the days get, as we get more daylight, which is right around the corner,
Don't start that again.
and then you know the grass will start growing, and
we had a great winter for you though, huh? Well,
so far,
I got
hey,
to 32 one time.
let me
didn't
tell you, I ain't complaining. So
No,
far, I think I put my jacket on maybe
I was
twice.
surprised this morning though how cool it was. I didn't realize 44.
Well, we need some good
Uh-huh.
sunshine, and we got a week of it, and that's what I want. Sun don't shine, I don't shine sometimes.
But that didn't
so-
stop those people outside the dome. They've been cooking out there since 10 o'clock yesterday morning, you know?
Well, it's South Louisiana, you know, and,
yeah,
and
people come from all over. And imagine how many people from Alabama,
yeah, and listen, let me tell you, if
Atlanta, I mean.
when you get in, when you look at that program, and you look at the following, I mean, you talk about avid fans.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta
they're really
believe.
avid
Oh, they not avid, they rabid. You know, I mean, they are unbelievable. Those guys and gals, and that is their sole entertainment. They
Absolutely.
save their money. They buy the tickets. They go early. They tailgate. They just
That's
you
all
know.
they talk about.
Yeah.
And they built that game up all over the country. You know, that was
Oh,
the
absolutely.
the
Monday
last
Night Football.
Monday
Sure.
night, the last one.
Sure.
And I'm sure 50 million people were watching that. To see that team in the first half, they did. Atlanta kind of scared us a little bit, you know.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah,
but, you know,
right.
you got to play you got to play 60 minutes, especially. You know, any great football team knows
But
that.
that Graham boy, 6'4", he can catch the ball anyway, and Colston too, you know.
You know, and Jimmy Graham, of course, is special.
Yeah, he is.
In the fact that he comes from a broken home. He
That's
comes from they abandoned him.
Yeah, I know.
And he was raised by a person who literally adopted him and picked him up out of an orphanage or
Yeah, I didn't
somewhere
know
on
that,
the
yeah.
street. Oh yeah, on the street. It's a heck of a story. And you know, she picked him up and she pumped a bunch of positive stuff in his head and said, you can, and he ended up finishing high school. Of course, he had a great basketball career at Miami.
I'm sure.
And played 1 year of football. Kid never played high school ball, football, and never played college football up until I think his last year or two at Miami, and then goes on. Is going to be one of the greatest
Yeah,
tight ends of
absolutely.
all times. But I've never met the kid, but read a lot of stories about
Yeah.
him. From what they say, he is one of the nicest kids that you ever want to
You
meet.
can tell.
And you know, he's
And
just he
Breeze
had a
went-
tough start.
Straight
You know?
time at the bench after
Yeah.
he broke that record, you know. He's amazing. He and Colston catch anything you throw at him.
Oh, absolutely, man. Big old 6'4", 6'5",
Yeah.
6'6" guys with hands like bear paws, I guess so.
When
you
when
know?
he knocked that ball out of his hand
Can
and
jump
he
34
ran that in,
feet.
that was it. I was kind of scared when they got close to 11 points Colts, you know, but they couldn't do anything. Our defense went crazy on them, man.
Yeah, and if we could get a little break, you know, the Rams knocked us off. If they could knock off the 49ers, we get a bye.
Yeah, I know.
That would be terrific. But
Oh.
I think this team is gelling right now.
Oh.
In fact, in some ways, I think this team is probably better than the team that went to the Super
I
Bowl
think so,
year
too.
before
I think
last.
it
So
is.
who knows? The only thing I'm worried about they say don't worry about it this year is the fact that they may have to go up north
Yeah.
and play a cold
I
weather
know.
game in order to get to the Super Bowl in Indianapolis.
That's
so
right. That's right.
who knows? We'll see. You know,
Well-
maybe somebody can knock off Green Bay. You know,
Yeah.
don't count your chickens
Well,
before
look,
they hatch. You got to take them one at
Kansas
a
City
time.
did, huh?
That's right. We got to take
I
them one at
couldn't
a
believe
time.
that,
So
that Green Bay would lose that.
who knows what can happen in the playoffs? But anyway,
it's a great team, and not only in personalities but in talent and defensively. A defensive coach that came in and brought him to the Super Bowl. He studied that other team for a while because the first quarter they were eating us up, you know.
well, they don't let anybody be a star.
No,
You know, if you notice, nobody's a star. Not even Drew Brees.
no, that's right.
Everybody fits into a role.
They're a big team.
Yeah, they you know, TEAM. There's no I in that. And
That's right.
Peyton
And when
preaches
when he
that.
broke that record, that big Muhammad came and picked him up and put him
Yeah.
over his shoulder. and the announcer was trying to get the people to quiet down. That must be a
That
wow.
wasn't going to happen. Can you imagine what that
Oh.
dome was like? But I think, great for the team, of course, even greater for the city of New Orleans.
Oh, absolutely.
With all of the bad.
5 bowl games in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all of the bad publicity they've gotten lately with the crime and the murders and all of that. I mean, this is a shot in the arm for
we
them.
We haven't had it in 3 days. We haven't had any murders in 3 days. A terrible auto accident. The news is not the best thing in the world at Christmas time. You don't watch too much of that.
No, and it's going to happen. It's magnified because it's Christmas, but it happens all year long. It's just magnified because it's Christmas time. But apart from that, I mean, it's hey, life is life, and I think Drew Brees said it last night. Life is short, so some of these moments are really special. Just savor them, and
every time you call me in here, we start talking about 1930, 1940.
Well, because it's significant. It's significant points.
Right.
In a lifetime of a person.
2012.
Who would ever thunk you'd live this long? You never thought it?
Never thought.
Let me tell you, I never thought I'd live this long.
No.
Both of my parents died at an early age. I figured I was going to follow those trends. I wish I'd have known I'd live this long. I'd have took better care of myself along the way. I'm serious.
Quit jumping out of trucks and stuff.
Well, we do all that.
Yeah, Daddy died at 56, and he's kind of scarish, But the Gibbons family, the Gibbons side, talking about Gibbons, my Aunt Weenie next door is going to be 97 on January the 9th. The day of the big LSU game, and she's a big LSU fan.
She is?
I wrote to the editor of the Comet to run a story on her, for that particular day. January the 9th. Talking about football, that's something too. An LSU team, only undefeated team in the nation, I believe. And they're going to, I hope they can take that out the team.
Well, they got everything going for them. It's a home game. It's a home game for them.
Like last night.
They do well in the dome. Personally, I don't think the score is going to be as close as it was the first time.
I don't think so either.
You give Les Miles this long to prepare for a team, he's going to have something up his sleeve. I guarantee you. The guy is a master when it comes to that. And plus the fact, I don't care what you say, he's in Nick Saban's head.
Uh-huh.
Nick Saban is one of the greatest football coaches ever.
He never smiles, though.
But Les Miles is greater. Let me tell you why. Saban cannot think out of the box. He's focused.
Right.
Okay? Miles, I'm telling you, is in his head. Saban got outcoached so bad. I mean, his players got outplayed.
Right.
In some ways, but he got outcoached real bad, which determined the outcome of the game. Miles is just in his head. I don't. That's the only way I can put it.
And I coached for, who was it? They tried to go that 1 yard and they couldn't make that 1 yard.
Smith, yeah, Mike Smith.
Isn't that amazing? That front line, though, when you stop and think, every play for 16 games, those linemen, pow.
How'd you like to hit the wall? Huh? How'd you like to do that?
And most people can't name any of the linemen. They don't remember their names, Everything's a quarterback and the receivers and running backs. That little Sproles fella, I don't know how we got him, how we were lucky enough to get him.
We got him on a free agency acquisition at the beginning of the year. At the off-season last year.
Who let him go?
Chargers? Was it San Diego?
Yeah.
Either the Chargers or the Denver Broncos. Yeah. I think it was San Diego. Yeah, they let him go.
But the Drew Brees history live long in history. I think his shoulder was so bad, San Diego let him go. And turned him down in Miami, and here he is.
No, he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country, and he'll go to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely.
His numbers are there, the
so
credentials
cool.
are there.
He's such a fine gentleman too. He talked about his 2 boys. They were sleeping, he said.
Yeah, they went to bed. I mean, they're young, and they won't.
Remember that night.
What I think the oldest one's 2 or 3. He won't remember that,
right.
but he'll have enough videotape around him. But as soon as he's old enough, I guarantee you somebody will show it to him.
Eugene Richard, I'm going to tell you something about you. You got the greatest voice.
Yeah, right.
You belong on national television.
I got that, and more than that, Gib, I got a face for radio.
A face for radio, yeah. Nobody sees you, huh? Nobody gets to see you. I want to play a little bit of this tape for you people.
All right, put it on. Let me do it on this microphone.
Okay.
Because I guarantee you. Go ahead and start it. I don't know how to start it.
Barrios, Shirley, and Roland Barrios. But Ned worked there a long time. Ned, when did you start working over at the Grand Theater?
Lost my daddy if I was 12 years old. on October the 10th, 1934. He said, "Tell Ned he's got to come to work."
And what kind of pay did you have at that time?
I was making 75 cents a week.
75 cents a week. And what was your job?
I was picking up tickets.
Picking up tickets. And what time did you go to work?
Well, on weekdays we would have to be there for 3. On Saturdays we had to be there for 1. And on Sundays we had to be there for 2.
Mm-hmm.
The theaters opened at 2 on Saturdays, 3 on Sundays, and 4 on weekdays.
But it was open every day?
Every day. We worked 363 days a year. We had 2 days off a year, Holy Thursday and Good Friday. No vacations.
But you open on Christmas Day?
Christmas
and
Day,
New Year's Day?
We worked the hardest on holidays than we did any other day. We opened every holiday.
And what was the time of the movies? Did the movies last as long as they do now? Kind of like a cowboy movie. An hour and a half? Maybe?
About an hour and a half.
And who was running the projector at the time? Was Elmo upstairs then?
No, at that time it was my dad, Ned Barrios, and his nephew, Louis Barrios.
The theater belonged to Mr. DeLoss at the time?
No, it belonged to Mr. Blumensteel.
Oh, yeah, from Donaldsonville, huh?
Donaldsonville. And then Mr. Sidney Harp went into business with him. And when Mr. Blumensteel died, he left the third to his 2 daughters. He left a third to Mr. Sidney Harp, and he left a half to Mr. Charles DeLoss and a half to Mr. Max Quentin.
I see. My goodness. How many people were involved in the theater operation? They had a ticket taker, or you just picked them up?
Well, at one time, during the week, we had 1 ticket picker. On Saturdays and Sundays, we had 4. 1 at the front door and 2 at the side doors, because it was so crowded that the people had to go in and come in through the side doors.
When you started working there in 37, you said?
34.
34. What was the price of tickets then, you remember?
5, 10, and 15 cents.
What was the difference? If you sat upstairs or sat
Up
down?
to 12 years old, you paid 5 cents. From 12 until 18, you paid 10 cents. And adults paid 15 cents.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And where the film came in through the mail? Or somebody brought it from New Orleans or Donaldsonville?
No. It came in by truck.
By truck,
The truck
and how long would a film they keep it? 3 days, maybe?
2 days.
2 days,
Sunday and Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday the 1 day.
Now, Saturday had the cereals. Was that the only day that had the cereals?
Right.
That was mostly cowboy stuff, huh?
Right.
On Saturdays, huh? What do you remember? Anything unusual happened? You ever had any fights in there? Or you had to abandon it, or the electricity went off, or anything like that?
Well, a lot of times the electricity went off, but we did have fights.
What about the air conditioning? Was that in from the beginning?
No.
That thing in the back behind there with the water coming down on it.
Yeah, well, that was...
When was that put in, you think?
Well, the Grand was air conditioned first. I don't remember what year the air conditioned the Grand. But it used to be where the water used to fall through a filter like in the back, and then there was big fans that would draw the air in through the water.
That was the first way they used to air condition.
Right.
The air coming through the water would make it cool.
Right.
It was a cooler, really, huh?
Right, it was a cooler.
Take your break, and we'll come back to the... When you started in 34, they didn't have any concessions, huh?
No.
When did that start? When did they have popcorn?
That started, let's see. That was in the 40s, the early 40s.
That was Mr. DeLoss was running the show, is that right?
Oh, yes. On to DHC. That it was DeLoss, Harp.
Position with 35 seconds left before halftime.
Did in Donaldsonville.
I see.
So they call it the DHC concession.
Now, they tell me they had some live shows there sometime. Do you remember any famous people? Tex Ritter came there. I remember that.
Tex Ritter.
Yeah. In fact, his horse came in and messed up the place, didn't he?
He sure did. They forgot to tickle under his stomach and to make him avoid before he went on the stage. And when he got on the stage, he did it. And then there was Lash LaRue.
Yeah.
And
you remember anybody else? Ken Menard didn't come, huh?
no,
Gene Autry.
Tex Ritter.
Somebody told me that Gene Autry was in town.
Gene Autry came one time.
Yeah, I know. He wanted to do a live show in the Grand, but Mr. Lott wouldn't let him.
No, he wouldn't.
But imagine Gene Autry standing on the corner of our Rose Drugstore. That's Nick Papa told me this.
Yeah.
Nickels and dimes he was looking for. Imagine Gene Autry ended up being a multimillionaire, you know? Where did you live at the time, Nick? Were y'all living here?
We were no, sir.
Where was
We were living. Well, we lived on 5th Street, back of Percy's Restaurant. The house is still there.
Yeah.
And then from then, we moved across the street where the Riviera office building is right now.
Right on Canal.
And then we built here.
I see. And when you moved here, who was still living? Your mother and father
We were all living there.
All living? How many of y'all?
We were Mom and Daddy and 4 boys and 2 girls.
2 girls. Amazing. So how long, from 1934 to when did you work there?
I worked there from 1934 until when the Baby Grand closed until 1955.
56. Well, tell me about the Baby Grand. When did they decide to do that? They had the same people that ran both shows?
Yes.
Company, whatever those 3 men were?
Yeah.
Why did you think they built a Baby Grand Theater? Was that many people going to the movie?
There was that many people on Saturdays and Sundays. They had to stop selling tickets. So they opened, the Baby Grand always opens at 1 hour later than the Grand.
Who else was working there when you were working there? Was Gladys Coulon there yet?
Gladys Coulon was the ticket seller at the Grand.
In those years too?
Oh, yes. Gladys stopped working when, let's see, what year? She stopped working, just before the Baby Grand closed. She could see things were slowing up, and she went to work at Percy Lobdell's.
So who else do you remember working there? Who cleaned the place up?
Mr. Ashiel.
Oh, Mr. Ashiel, yeah, I know him.
He cleaned both places.
Both places, huh?
And then, when he got older, we had 2 black fellas, Frank and Jesse James.
Jesse James. Exactly. No kidding. Frank and Jesse James.
Frank and Jesse James. That was the brothers. That was their name.
And they probably got 50 cents a week too, huh?
No, they made a little more than that.
When you finished, what were you making when you finished?
When I finished,
back in the early 50s.
I was the manager.
You were the manager?
And I was making $30 a week.
$30? Wow, $30 a week.
Yeah.
That was big in those days, huh?
Yeah, it sure was.
Yeah, Shirley on the TV said that Gone with the Wind was a big thing in Thibodaux at the time. That was kind of a scandal because they used the word damn in there, right?
Yeah.
And but Labie, was it Labie? Monsignor Labie didn't want more people to go see that.
What was it?
Forever Amber, yeah. Did you ever have to throw anybody out for drunkenness?
Oh, definitely.
You couldn't smoke in there, of course.
Couldn't smoke in there.
No.
I was working at the Baby Grand, and there was a big fella there, and he knew when I went to supper. And every time I'd leave to go to supper, my sister Shirley was working there. He started cutting up because he knew I was there. And one day Shirley went in there and told him to shut up and get out. And he laughed at her. So she took him by the neck of his shirt and his seat of his pants, and she threw him out the building.
Shirley threw him out the building. Did he ever come back? Never came back, huh?
No, I wouldn't let him back.
All right, tell me, going back to the Baby Grand, why did they close it?
Well,
people would just stop going. TV would come in and everything?
Yeah, TVs were there. We got our first TV set, and every time Mr. DeLoss saw an antenna, he used to get mad. So we had to hide ours in the back of the house so he wouldn't know we had a television.
So, so, so the tickets, and when you finished at 55, the tickets were what, about 75 cents? No, that wasn't that high. 35 probably.
35 was a
35
high.
cents. And what was popcorn, a nickel or a dime?
5 cents a bag and 10 cents a box.
You had any candy?
Oh, God, yes. I used to be at the head of when they opened the DHC concession, they put me at the head of it.
What kind of candies do you remember?
Oh, Hershey bars, O. Henry's, and butternuts.
Going back to the theater itself, did they have live shows of any kind there?
No, the only thing.
Graduations, weddings?
Graduation. We had graduation.
Yeah.
No weddings. But there was a dance to you. And
yeah, I remember
every
that.
year they used to give a dance review.
Dance recital, right. Dance review, yeah.
Remember the passion play?
They had a passion play too?
Tom McNamara was Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah?
He was on the cross and everything.
No kidding.
Tom McNamara was Jesus Christ.
That, yeah. I'm going to edit some of this out, but that's very interesting. Now, going back to Tex Ritter, he must have been touring the country or something, and Delage probably got him over here for $25 or something, huh? Probably. He had a horse trailer and a bus. How did he get here?
He had a trailer pulled by an automobile. And the trainer.
Was just the two of them?
Yeah.
Just the two of them, huh? If I remember that. Was it a white horse? I feel like it was a white horse. Brown, yeah. I thought it was a white horse.
Yeah.
Well, what's the most unusual thing that you remember that happened there? You ever had to evacuate the theater because of a scare, or did anybody bring a gun in there, or did they have any stabbings?
The thing I remember the most.
I think he stopped now.
Hey, listeners, we got to take a short break. We're going to be right back here at the balcony, 640 AM, KTIB. And welcome back, listeners. If you just joined, man, I was...
Too loud.
Well, that's just in your headset. I'll turn that down a little bit. That's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things when you think about it.
No,
That's less than 80 cents, about 70 years ago.
Yeah, right.
75 cents a week, a nickel for a bag of popcorn. What was it, 5, 10, and 15 cents to get in the show?
5, 10, and 15 cents, yeah.
Man, oh man, oh man.
If you roll at between 12 and 18, you pay 10 cents. Over that, you pay 15 cents. Imagine.
Well, we talked about it. We talked about 4 movie theaters in town. The advent of TV caused 3 of those 4 to close,
absolutely.
and the Grand stayed open for quite a while before it closed.
Right.
Then came Nichols Theater. They made a stab at it, and that closed. Movie theaters are now the only ones that look like they're making it are these mega theaters that play 48 million movies at one time.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know how long that's going to last because but it's a different generation and a different time. Netflix now is where it's at. These movies these little red boxes at the corner of every CVS and Walgreens and Walmart, wherever they are. I mean, you can watch a movie anytime you want.
Gene, do you remember drive-in theaters? That was a big thing.
Oh,
too.
I remember.
We didn't mention those, but
I got to be careful when we talk about driving.
you used to hide somebody in the trunk, remember?
Oh, yeah, we did all that. What was the one right at the corner of...
in the Canal Street.
Yeah, right there in the canal there for a while, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of firsts happened at drive-in movies back then. Believe me.
You remember
Lots.
that?
Oh, yeah, I remember them well.
That? What was the name?
I'm not going there.
Yeah, and that was only 25 cents, I believe. That was a big thing. I don't know if they have them anymore. Why would you go to a drive-in movie when you got TV at home like we do?
Well, I guess you're right, but I think it's part of the atmosphere. There's some around, I'm sure. Because every now and then you see one come up on a special.
Yeah.
On a national, not a History Channel special or something like that. I'm sure there's some still around, but I think and they got nice TVs today. They got $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 televisions, but it's still. I don't think it's the same as being in a movie theater.
No.
The attention span is dark. You're truly focused on the movie.
And if it was hot, it was too hot. You couldn't leave the car running, and you didn't have air conditioning in the car. I remember cars in the 40s, 30s, and 40s didn't have any air conditioning, you know. I can remember going to Grand Isle with Mama and them. It'd take us 2 or 3 hours to get there, you know. And we had all the windows down. By the time we got there, on an old gravel road.
By wringing wet.
Old gravel road. We'd go straight to the Gulf and wash off, you know. Those days, back in the early 40s.
Times have changed. Times have gotten better. I think most changes are for the good. But when you listen to somebody like Ned, you know, times were tough back then.
Oh yeah.
But the social situation was a lot better.
Right.
You never, you know, it wasn't near as volatile as it is now. People were a lot more honest back then.
Well, you remember where the jail was, huh? Right next to the Grand Theater. They leave the Grand Theater, that building across the street.
Yeah, that was the sheriff's office, right? Yeah.
And Joanne would leave. They leave the movie theater to walk to the park-in. I mean, to the pavilion for dancing, and the prisoners would whistle at them and everything. Those are some days, all right. The best ice cream. Remember best ice cream on Main Street? You don't remember that?
Nuh-uh. The only thing I remember on ice cream on Main Street was Grace and the Lamartinas.
Right.
They had that store, and I remember going in there too. That was a vegetable store, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. And it was open on Sunday. It wasn't supposed to be open
no,
on
but
Sunday.
you could go in there and get an ice cream cone. I remember that.
That's right.
Very vaguely, yeah.
It shows you how old you're getting.
Not me. I don't span 3 centuries like you, Gibbons.
Man, it's amazing. Memories are wonderful, though, you know, and especially concerning the church, you know, the things that went over in that beautiful cathedral. We got a brand new organ over there. Have you been there since Christmas?
Oh, absolutely.
Decorations and everything. And the choir is fantastic. And it's just amazing what went on Canal Street and down on Green.
You know, people say religion doesn't change. Listen to what he said about Gone with the Wind. Who was the priest at Monsignor? Father Gravois, Monsignor Gravois?
No.
Labie?
Labie. Monsignor Labie.
You know, one curse word in the whole movie.
That's right.
And it was, you know, there was something about Catholics don't go see it.
Yeah,
and Gone with the Wind.
That's right.
Look at it today.
Oh, God.
Huh?
They're saying anything on there.
Yeah. And it's acceptable. You know, that's my point.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you look at the way we socialized back in the 30s and 40s and 50s is totally different from the way we socialize today. Like I said, people were honest. A lot more, you know, first of all, there weren't as many people.
That's right.
Second of all, they were a lot more honest.
We got 7 billion people now, you know, but we didn't, if something happens in a foreign country, and within a half an hour we're over there.
Oh, absolutely.
With cameras and everything.
Sure.
It's horrible what's going on in the world, but it's because we know too much.
Well,
you know?
part of, you know, and back up a second. Part of the movie back in those days was a newsreel.
That's right.
Of the news that's how you got news. There was no TV.
The only time we got news, that's right.
That was a newsreel. I remember watching the newsreels.
You remember that, huh?
Yeah. You know,
well,
but
absolutely. Well, I think we know a little bit too much.
For our own good, huh?
Yeah, right. New Orleans news, it upsets me to turn it on. Not when the Saints are back, that's all right, you know. But just go back to football a minute. That LSU Alabama game is really building up, like this thing last night was building up. That's going to be something.
I think it's good for
I don't
this.
think we should be playing Alabama again. We already beat them. Should be Oklahoma.
It don't
State.
matter what you think, they're going to do it. You know, believe me, the game will go on.
You know what the money that brings into New Orleans?
Well, my point is it's a great time for us.
That's right.
You know, because of the game last night is going to set us up, and man, you realize, and we're going to Thibodaux's going to get some spillover.
That's right.
You know, we're going to get some tourists.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we're going to get a lot of things going on from now till after January 9th. Hang on a second, let me grab this call. Good morning, you're live, KTIB.
Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Hey,
good morning.
Gentlemen, thank you.
You know, something that was interesting that was posed to me last night was, has any college team in the same state and the professional team in the same state both won the Super Bowl and the national championship at the same time?
That's a great point.
I don't think so.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be fantastic.
You know, and I think both are poised to do it. You know, it's going to take some. We got to get a few breaks, but I think both of those teams could do it.
Hey, we can always wish for the same present we got 2 years for Christmas, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right. You are right. That would be awesome.
You think it's Louisiana food? You think it's gumbo and oysters?
I think it's red beans and rice, man.
You're right.
I think we have a shot. I think we ought to cross our fingers and go in that direction.
I agree. I agree. I think we do.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
You too, Councilman Battle. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
It's funny you recognize all these people. LSU and the Saints.
I remember a voice.
Yeah, you do. You're so amazing. They don't. They always identify themselves. Sometimes they do, you know. But we'll be calling you when the next election. We're calling you because I'll tell you who's going to win. Right?
Oh, you will. Gibbens Robichaux, thanks for being with me this morning.
My
Listeners,
pleasure.
thank you for being. Hey, this is a laid-back week. You know what? We ain't going to handle no heavy topics this week.
No.
I promise you. We're going to take a break.
Not-
We're going to have some fun this week. We're going to sit down and talk about some fun things.
Oh.
And, you know, when the first of the year,
Yeah.
we'll go back to heavy topics.
No,
But
but
thanks for listening this morning. God bless you today. God bless you every day. Thanks for allowing us into your homes for a little bit. And we'll see you tomorrow here at the balcony, 640 AM, KTIB.
it's funny that all that theater stuff.
Criminal justice. We've